chatting about games and education. And here in our awesome, often variable PATUE studio, we have James Sanders and Duncan Winter, who are the co-founders of ClassBadges.org. We're going to be talking to them today about the ideas behind gamification in education and the possible uses for it, and really what the best practices they've found so far are. Hi guys.
Well, thank you for having us. And .com.
.com.
No, we probably should get .org now though.
Yeah,
if you type in .org, you'll get redirected to the site.
So we do have it.
We do have it.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Sorry.
No, it works.
Yeah. No, I'm all for monetization. So James, you and I connected. I think it was sometime in August. You contacted me about trying out ClassBadges, and it was just in beta. How early was that in the process?
August. If I talked to you about it in August, it was pre-launch.
Yeah, we launched.
We launched in October, so it was a couple months before we even launched. So you were in the loop before anybody really was using it, just trying to flush out the interest in this idea of badges. I had used badging in my classroom years ago when I was teaching in Los Angeles, and there was no technology available to let me do it, so I did it in paper form. And so I was generating badges and printing them out on sticker paper and cutting them out with this round sticker cutter that one of my parents' grandmas had given us, and we were doing it in class, and reached out to Duncan, who's actually my cousin as well. And there's a third co-founder who couldn't make it today. Her name is Esther Wojcicki. So the three of us are doing ClassBadges. But I reached out to Duncan and said, hey, I need a digital version of this for my own classroom. So originally it was, in a very selfish way, creating something for my own classroom. Had no real intention of sharing it with the world. I just wanted to be able to do it in my classroom. And then Duncan and I spent the last year and a half talking about it and slowly evolving the idea, and eventually came up with this big concept or roadmap for what we want to do, and we're just getting started.
To go back for a minute, could you tell us a little more about what class you were teaching, what your classroom experience is?
Yeah, so I spent the last 5 years teaching. I work currently for an organization called KIP. It's a charter school organization, and I was teaching 7th grade world history. And it was during that time that I wanted to do something more in my classroom. I found grades not very exciting for my students, and that whole concept of just working for an A on a test or whatever it may be wasn't very engaging for them. And I wanted to break up my curriculum, my world history curriculum, into meaningful chunks. So it might be follow the Roman Empire, the Byzantine Empire, the Roman Catholic Church. And rather than working towards an 80% on the next test on it, I wanted them to demonstrate whatever we thought was mastery, and when they demonstrated mastery, they would earn a badge for that. And so every time it came down to do an assessment or grading of a project, they would know that these were the badges that they were working towards for that assignment, and then they would keep track in their front page of their journal or their work, it's called interactive notebook, of which badges they've earned, and they would see blank spots for which ones they hadn't earned. And that's something you can see on the site now, in that there are ways for students to see which badges they've earned, and then there's a grayed out version of the badge, ones they can work towards. This idea of not just ones they have, but what are they working towards. And I love the idea of collecting things and building collections and working towards goals, rather than telling my student, hey, you got a 79% on this science test. They won't really know. They don't really know what does that mean. You're a C+ student in this concept. But if you say you're working towards this goal, whether we do it in our lives, working towards earning a degree or a certificate, or becoming like a Google certified teacher, teachers can now use ClassBadges as a way to set those similar type goals. What are they working towards in your class? Maybe it's they're working towards completing their research paper, or writing a novel, or whatever. Writing a novel, that'd be great, right? Or demonstrating
National Novel Writing Month.
Yeah,
there are teachers that do it.
Right. Whatever those same goals are in your class. Breaking up your curriculum and moving away from grades and standardized tests and different things like that, I think can be really exciting. So.